All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Illuminated Archetype. Today, we dive into the 35, which we call the Heroine, and the 45, which we call Goodwill. And so we're going into the 35 and or the 45 in multiple charts today. We did want to introduce the Heroine because we have not been able to open the door yet. So you are the first ones to actually see it. So I'm going to share the Heroine a little bit with you before we dive into the charts and allow for some people to hop on. So here we go. Okay, so this is the Heroine. And this is the archetype for the 35. And it could have been the hero. It could have been so many different things. But we decided to call it the Heroine and give it a female persona because oftentimes the hero in the adventures or the journeys are usually men, boys, coming of age of boys usually. I mean, we've seen a lot of heroines show up in movies nowadays. I mean, you can see Moana, Miranda from Brave. Lots of Disney movies are trying to change the script and put in more female leads that are the heroes of the story. So this is called the Heroine, and it's for Gene Key and Gate 35. And so if you guys are brand new to the 64 doors, we bridge the gap between Gene Keys and human design and bring you an archetype that you can embody, that you can play with, that you can like put on like a costume. We all have all 64 archetypes within us. It's just some are more active, some are more prominent than others. At one time or another during the year, you have these archetypes. So right now, the Heroine is active for everyone in the whole world because the sun is activating this inner archetype for us. And so this moves from the shadow of hunger to the city of boundlessness through the pathway of adventure. And so, Bella, did you want to say like a sentence or two about who the Heroine is? Because Bella's usually the one who does the 5, 10, 15-minute videos. So you can learn more about the Heroine here, but I'm just wondering if you had some short synopsis of kind of what the Heroine is so that we don't have to go through all of this.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the heroine is always open for adventure. She's not afraid of change. She has this kind of hunger for life, but it's all about the curiosity. It's all about wanting to experience. She's not afraid of turbulence. She's not afraid of like things being messy because she wants to live to the fullest. And it's kind of that feminine. That's why I feel like this is a feminine archetype, because she's so ready to say yes to everything, and she's also connected to the emotions, and part of that is what she expresses.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, and you can see in the human design chart. Actually, let me scroll down to it. In the human design chart, see if this gets bigger. It comes out of the throat center, so it is about expression as well. Telling your story, speaking about what you are wanting to experience, because it's almost like the 35, the Heroine speaks it out, and the 36 delivers. They're connected here. This whole channel is the channel of transitoriness, and it's reaching for the emotional center. It wants an emotional experience. And so this is kind of what it's hungry for, and it will call those things on because it wants the adventure. And moving back up, I mean, you can read through all these different things. We always give lots of goodies to help you dive in. So keywords, what's her internal motivation, positive attributes, the Achilles heel, some gene key patterns. We like to pull from both systems because we're not trying to reinvent the wheel either. We're just kind of bridging the gap and then giving our own interpretation or flavor into it. Then we have the reactive, the repressive, some questions to consider. It's going to be in the esophagus that this archetype is located. You'll find it in the physical body, that we always have a physical body biology. Toki actually is the one that did a whole comprehensive list of all the 64 gates, the 64 gates in the human design and where in the body they're located. So we've been using his kind of key And I thought it would be a good time to give him credit. So Toki Hanada, thank you so much for giving us a lot of the biology. Richard does have it in his Gene Key book, but Toki goes way more in depth with the different biology. It's also a Gemini gate. So it's activated. We're in Gemini right now. And so obviously all of the gates that become active during this season are going to be in Gemini. Yeah, and you can check out Bella's video to learn more about it. We're going to go into the charts in a little bit. I just wanted to make sure that I showed you everything that we have available in the 64 doors so that you can explore it. All the other doors that we have all these key components in it as well. So the only thing we change is the content within the framework. Sometimes we add a little bit more, take a little bit away, but generally you can expect this in each of the doors. And we have lots of different quotes. And we thought that also because this one is about the adventure, we would offer the activation sequence for you guys to jump into if you are looking to dive deeper into the Gene Key journey, into the Gene Key golden path. The activation sequence has you dive into your 4 prime gifts. So this is an adventure to kind of uncover and develop your genius, your gifts. It's kind of like the hero's journey. You don't know who you are until you step into that adventure. And then along the way, you understand, what am I capable of? What are my gifts? What are my genius? What is this adventure calling me to step into? And so that's kind of what you can do with this activation sequence. We're going to dive into the life's work, evolution, radiance, and purpose. And you can learn more about it here. Those are all the different ones and the things that are included in it. It's so robust. It's huge. There's so much stuff in here. Actually, I'll just show you. I'm going to delete that so that you guys don't know where to find it. But this is a digital course. And it comes with an attunement, a teaching, and a workbook. Always, mostly. And sometimes you get 2 attunements, the teaching, the workbook. The radiance sphere, we have another activation, teaching, workbook. You can see that our teachings are about an hour long. Then we added in a bonus. It's called Radiant Health Codes, and this allows you to align with your optimal health by using different parts of your design. You'll be able to investigate what compromises your emotional, mental, physical, spiritual well-being. And you'll be able to look at different parts of your design. We use the human design and the Gene Key chart to kind of unlock different codes to help you crack within your physical body and your experience here. So this is all about radiant health. We also have the purpose sphere. This one has a ton of stuff in it. We have, I think, 4 calls. So we'll have the teaching. We have a shadow monster attunement. This one's really cool. And we have the different descriptions in the lines. And we go into the pathway of individuation, which is like the center column that you see in your Gene Key profile. It looks like this right here. So we go into each of these and how to understand and unlock the pathway of individuation. We also have chakras in your design. So this is another cool thing that we added in the different chakras that are associated with your design. And that's about it. I mean, there's tons of stuff in there if you're interested in jumping into that. It's only $99. And this is definitely worth way more than that. We just figured it should be accessible and it should be affordable because everyone needs to have the activation sequence. Like that's the first step. Bella, is there anything that you would say about the course? Or
well, I would just give them the framework that this is something that we did in our membership group. So we created a teaching for that, for that, and then we have calls where we were having Q&As and we were like giving extra stuff for it. So that's the way that it was created, because we really like to create more than actually creating digital products. We like to actually do it in interaction. But I feel like this is a really good, I mean, I feel like you get the feeling of connection and interaction when you do the course. And another way of coming in and actually having access to this course still, I think if you come and join the membership, you are going to have this as part of it, because everything we did this year is going to be part of your membership. So I would say as a fourth line, as a 4-6, I would say that is a cooler way of doing it. But of course, if you just want to do this and self-study it and have it forever, it's a really good way of going into your blueprint and activating it.
Yes. So the Inner Circle is a monthly membership, and we finished up the activation sequence. Bella and I packaged this. Now it's available for purchase just as a digital course. If you do want to join the Inner Circle, it's $55 per month. You'll get access to the activation sequence. Plus, we're going to be going into global cycles, and then we're going to be moving into the Venus sequence. So if you're wanting to take that adventure with us, that is another possibility. So it's just what feels more aligned for you at this time. Are you wanting to dedicate and devote yourself to community, or are you wanting to do more self-study and kind of do this individual journey? It's completely up to you. Yeah, so the rest of the I'll let you guys kind of explore and have your own kind of adventure within this on our page, on our door. There's resources, there's free resources, there's paid resources, there's attunements, and blog posts, and there's a couple videos as well. Bella did a video, and then Dominique has a video up there as well. So tons of stuff to dive into. So take a look at it on your own. Are we ready to dive into the charts? Perfect. We just wanted to make sure that we gave an introduction for the 35 because the Heroine is active right now and we haven't officially launched it. So I definitely wanted to give it an introduction. But without further ado, here are our Illuminated Archetype mini chart readings. So we pulled some people from Your Life by Design, from Living Matrix, and from Gene Key Global Group. Yeah, and here we go. Let's just dive into this. So the first person that we are going into their design for is Alex. I believe Alex came from Gene Key Global Group. And he has the Goodwill. He has Goodwill in his life's work. So we're not starting out with the Heroine, but we're starting out with Goodwill. Let's see what we can pull through for this. I mean, off the get-go, I see that we have a couple archetypes hanging out over here. We have the Invitation or Grace 2 times in the Pearl and the Radiance. We have the Nomad. We have the Mystic, and we have the Discoverer and the Game Changer. So lots of archetypes that we've already gone through in this profile. Looks like an emotional authority. Emotions are a big theme for you, for sure. We have it in the Pearl, and we have it in the Radiance, in the 5th and in the 6th line. Honoring those emotions and also learning about the importance of speaking from and marketing from the heart, making that heart connection. Anything you'd like to kind of dive into first, Bella?
Yeah, I mean, I see this chart and I see liberation. So the only channel, one of the 2 channels that are activated is the 5539, and this is the liberation of spirit. So this is what I see more than anything in this chart. And I hope that this is going to be the focus because we have that 2247 in the radiance and the purpose, which is asking for liberation from oppression, which is asking for finding grace in dishonor. So I feel like that is the main theme that I see here, both looking at the purpose and the radiance and this channel. And I hope that whoever this is a split, that it's not going to bypass their life, like being just the 1762, which is the other channel. You could bypass your own life being an organizational being, but you're actually here to be a role model. And there's so much of that theme in your life because you are a 4-6, you have a 6, you have 6 lines in your vocation, your culture, a lot in your Pearl sequence, it feels like. So it's really about that liberation. What I see though is that it's funny because if you look at your nodes and if you look at your attraction, it's the 3rd gene key and the 42nd gene key. So basically, the way that you're going to liberate your soul, when I look at this, is so much about playfulness. It's so much about the eternal child. It's so much about celebration is probably even a better word. Like, how can you liberate your spirit through celebration? That's what I see. And it's almost like it looks like in yourself now, like you've been dealing a lot with corruption and kind of
Mhm.
finding equilibrium with the world and being very responsible. And it's almost like now your purpose is not consistent. The 28 is not in a consistent splenic center. So that's why I feel like you could be like, oh, I don't know, that you have a leadership theme, but I feel like it's so important, like Ashley was saying, you are an emotional person, you're here for emotions. And once you're living your emotional truth, while you're
Mhm.
coming back to that, then you can be really, you have a very strong leadership theme with the 45 and the 31 in a defined throat. So you are going to be some kind of, thought leader, spoken leader if you want to. But I feel like you're not going to have a fulfilled life until you find your own emotional liberation. That's the theme that I see so strongly in this chart.
Yeah, if he's going to be a role model of sorts, you have to see kind of where do the strengths lie, and the strengths lie in that 3955, being an emotional authority and having like the moon rules your drive, but also your emotions. So if you're here to look at leading with this understanding of your emotions, you're going to have this trial and error and understanding and being inspired by your emotions instead of being like, no, they're getting in the way. Let me just come up here. Let me just hang out in this area. Because like Bella said, when you have a split, you can just hang out here the whole time. And it's important to look at and lead from your strengths, and your strengths come from the 3955 as well. So if we automatically default to your authority, which is emotional, and then look at, okay, where's the channel? You have a channel, you have a superpower that comes right out of your root and your emotional center. So you're here to liberate yourself into freedom and to feel that sense of abundance and spirit. The 39 is in the second, and so you're wanting to have this, it's your relationships that are going to be provoking more than anything else too, because it's that second line. So you're going to be experiencing that provocation, and your relationships are here to liberate you into that freedom. So you can see this as being a portal into your culture sphere. So in order for you to come and activate this freedom, this abundance, this game changer energy, you're going to need to have to dive through this portal to get there. And it's going to be a lot of trial and error. And with being a third line and having the nomad, you might have this pattern of cutting, of leaving, of trying to escape when it gets too tough, when you get provoked too much. I'd say push into that, hang out there, be there, and allow those emotions to come up, because that is what is going to liberate you into your genius, into the place that you're actually wanting to be in. Your mind is telling you, I want to be here, but really you want to be in the realm of relationships, and you want to really pull out the marrow from that, because you're going to be able to role model from your being, from your doing. And it's not like what you've like learned in textbooks. It's like what you've learned in life, and that's what you're living. So allow yourself to be in those relationships, because that's the portal that you're looking for, to have that abundance, to have that freedom. That's what I would say.
Yeah, and I was just taking some notes. I'm thinking also that 28 is in the Pluto. So the purpose is kind of the transformation. You might have had lifetimes where there was oppression, where there was dishonor. Like you have the core wound as well. It's a 6-line core wound. That is a core wound of separation. And in this lifetime, the transformation that you're here to do in a transpersonal way too, it's like, because your purpose, your role models, is not only for you. A 4-6, whatever you do for you, you're doing it for the world. So that 28 you have in your Pluto on both sides could be veiled. So what I see the split again, I see if you don't focus on if you don't include the 39, 55, 55 is also your culture. If you don't include that and you only focus on being an organizational being, that organization, that eye for detail, anything that you could be for somebody else than yourself in the 1762, what I feel is that you could have you see Neptune, it's dissatisfaction and stress. Like if you would only focus on being that for somebody else and for maybe an organization on the outer, you could that you could fall into this dissatisfaction, a stress, and a lack of vitality that could basically veil your whole possibility for that transformation, that purpose that you're here to find. So it's so important for you to really be, I feel to you to be whole, for you to not just be, again, like you said, for many people, don't just live from your mind. But in your case, I feel like it's so strong. You're, and also to look at the 42, the 3, and the 9, you're here to be around people, but I feel that have the 53, the 60, and the 52, because you have those hanging gates. So you are going to be empowered by them too, and kind of feel more like a generator. With these people, you become a generator together. So there is something just with the root center for you that is really powerful, and its connection to the emotions.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing, Alex, and thank you, Bella, for going deep into that. Next we have Amanda. I don't remember where Amanda comes from, but she's in Facebook land with us. It looks like she has the heroine in her purpose. Her purpose, the reason that she came here to be in this body, the quality of her consciousness hinges on her ability to be the heroine in her own life for herself, to be this self-empowered heroine. Let's see what else she has. She also has the warrior. She has the heroine, the warrior, the nurturer. I forget what we called the 60.
The mystic or the magician? I can't remember.
The magician. The magician. Yes, the magician. Thank you. The magician, the game changer, the detective, love, and the mother. Wow. Powerful archetypes coming up.
I mean, this is the 4-1, so her fixed fate would kind of be the mother.
The mother. Yep, the mother. You're here to be the mother. And there's a hunger inside of you for something different too. I mean, it's can you allow yourself to be that mother, that nurture? Like, she's got the mother energy, the nurture energy, and they're both in 4th lines, but there's something she's still like hungry for, this adventure outside of what may keep her or bind her or have her stay. I don't even know if you're a mother, Amanda, but I'm wondering what your relationship is to being a mother or a nurturer or caring for others. Your soul wants adventure. Your soul's hungry. Let's see.
And there is something with this incarnation cross, like you're saying, Ashley, where we have this channel of community, the 37 and the 4, and she has it in the 4th line. But then we have also this impatience and the kind of hunger in the radiance and the purpose. So I feel like this incarnation cross is tricky in that way. And that part of that, the part of that challenge for the 4th line is like, how do I serve myself? And like, how can I serve both myself and others? So that could also be part of the conflict in this life. And we can see there is a 25, the unconditional love in the pearl. There is a vocation, this thing again about freedom. So I could even feel a kind of pull, and even looking at it's interesting too, the SQ and the EQ, we have the programming partners, it's 28 and the 27, which is all about, again, the 27, the 37 in one sense kind of similar, because it's like me or them. What is altruism? How can I both care about them and me? How can I both drink my cup and like feel like I'm not? So I feel like there's something there. Like in one way, that 4-1 is so serving the world, so unconditional, both with the 37, the 27, the 25. And on the other hand, there is just something very different. And I mean, the 38, 5 about the attraction in relationship kind of tells us about there is something here. They relate, like you were saying before with other chart, Ashley, it looks like there is in relationships there is going to be somehow something of a challenge.
Yeah, I would also say that when you're looking at your chart and you're looking for kind of what's going to be a challenge and what's going to be your strength, and just because you have a channel doesn't mean it comes easy to you. I mean, you do have access to this energy and it does link centers, and so it is a strength of sorts. I feel that with the 37 and the 40, this is very defined. It may be easy for her to fill that role and fill that tribal energy, right? It's like, I'm going to serve, I'm going to nurture, I'm going to be there in that community, but there's always going to be this hunger for more, this hunger for something else. Very defined ego center, very, very motivated individual. But also, I mean, the emotions are the authority. And if you look at the 5 and the 35, so we have the heroine. The heroine is by itself. It doesn't have the 36. And so therefore, it doesn't have that connection to speak what it's wanting to manifest, what adventure it's wanting, right? It doesn't have that 36 there to connect it, to give it access to the throat, to that manifestation center, to the communication center. And so it's hanging there. And whenever you see the hanging gate, it's looking for the other partner. And because it's in this purpose, the role of your soul, I mean, not the role of your soul, but the purpose of why you came here in this incarnation is like, it's hungry, it's searching for something else. And it's kind of grasping for that emotions. And what you'll be experiencing is that the highs and the lows. And then we have the 5 hanging again, looking for its rhythm, waiting for its time too. So I feel like there's something deep in your bones that just says, I want more. So, I mean, I wouldn't investigate that, but also know that you have all these strengths, and you will be initiated into that love, into that direction, into that place that you're wanting to move towards. Like, it's going to happen. You just have to have patience and be that eternal, timeless being as you wait for the next adventure to come. Thank you, Amanda, for sharing. Bella, is there anything else that you would add very briefly? Because we have more.
No, we can. I mean, I think there is something more here for her. Like, I see the very strong definition. There is also the channel of the shaman. I mean, I feel like there's like a second layer for this that I mean, if I go into it, it will be a lot much longer. I only looked at the Gene Key. So I think there's something more for her here. I don't know how, but like there's more to uncover for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you are curious and would like to dive deeper with us, we would love to do that. Maybe even doing a full chart reading. We do those live, or you can do them personally with us. But reach out if you'd like to know more. I kind of have to rein Bella back, or she'd go on forever, and then we wouldn't get to anyone else. So, because Bella is such a giver. Moving on to Antoinette. She has it in the purpose sphere as well, although we have a different incarnation cross. So we have the 63, which is the detective. So the role of the soul is to be the detective, and that hunger is what's going to lead towards that detective archetype. We also have, again, the 60, the magician, and the discoverer, and the manager. Awesome. Yep, that's it for the archetypes that are in that design.
Okay.
Hmm. 4/6 profile. Looks like the strengths that you have would be this channel of, I think we call it rhythm. I don't know. The 15 and the 5, right? This one is all about rhythm and flow for yourself. And then we have the 9 and the 52 down here. So this is also about we have determination and we have stillness. So there's going to be an exertion of energy, and then like a pause and kind of let things be. You can zoom in on the details and pull back. It's not quite like the 1762, but it's kind of similar in that case. It looks like, though, your pearl, the way that you're going to be able to come into your competence, into that magician archetype, into that detective, is to be able to put little steps towards a bigger goal. So it's not about getting there super fast. It's like, what can I do each day to make my way towards this? Since you're a detective, you're going to want to bring all these pieces together, and you're going to want to connect the dots. And that's what's going to unlock your competence and unlock this magical realm of realism, where lots of amazing things can happen, but you have to make those little steps. And so you're going to be collecting things along the way for yourself. And the hunger is what's going to drive you as well. We see it coming out of these open centers. It's longing for something. It's wanting an experience. and it's waiting for that delivery. So it is what your soul is hungry for. What is your soul calling to it? Yeah, what would you say about this design, Bella?
I mean, I see the sacral center is super powerful. So from the sacral center, you basically have 3 channels. You have two channels are going right up to the G, which is this possibility of taking just life force, or even like the primal force, the animalistic part of us, and take it up to the heart, and live as who you are, and know where you're going with that energy. And you also have the 952. So I feel you are so much a sacral being. You're a pure sacral being. You're all about flow. You don't even have, because often we have the spleen activated when you are a sacral being. You're in fluidity. Richard Rudd, when he was still in human design, he wrote about the aura types, and he calls this the fluid type. You are here to know in the now where you're going. And there's something very rhythmic about you with that 515, something very, very rhythmic. And there's also about you using all your energy to just be naturally in the now, the way that you're here to behave. That's how you use your energy right. And then you have this possibility. You are a role model. You're here to do what you love with that 4th line. So when you are in inquiry, and you are in curiosity, you could say, in imagination, curiosity, and then you are going to be able to feel from that sacral center what, where do I focus? That 952 is like, where do I focus? And that's kind of that's like, you don't have to do much more than that. That's what's going to lead you right. So it's more like the other centers. You have 5 centers that are open, that there could be some of those themes about worthiness, about holding on to things that are not good for you, maybe avoiding conflict, maybe feeling like you should say something, feeling the pressure from others of how you should speak. And then, of course, the open head and ajna. There is a lot of psychosis, confusion, and doubt out there. And with all those with all that openness in your head and your ajna, you can feel a lot of that. And part of you could be, and then you have the 11 3 times on your design side, in Mercury, in Venus, and in Neptune. There is something about idealism there's something with 11th jinki, actually it's in detriment twice. So I would go and understand the 11th jinki better if I was you. There is some mystery there for you.
Looks like it's in the 3rd line too, which is about adventure. So what's going to open the heart is that adventure and pushing into pleasure. So the hunger can be fueled by this SQ as well.
Mm-hmm. And then there is something with a 50 as well, where, it's your transformation lies in finding an equilibrium, in finding harmony. And I feel like in your case, that is connected to your life trajectory, to your North Node. So you have the 15 and the 52. So when you find that equilibrium, when you transcend corruption somehow, it's like something you do for the collective. As a 4-6, everything you do for you, you do it for the collective. So what you're going to find is that, going from disequilibrium or extremes in that 15 that you have in your North Node, or the stress that you had, the stress matrix that is in the 52, and the dissatisfaction in the 58, is just something powerful with that that I can see. And the moon, also the attraction, is a 1st line, just all about what's wholesome for your body. Like when you can be in something that's wholesome for your body, all the relationships that you're going to attract are good for you. That's kind of the lens, or the discernment. Is this good for my delight, for my pleasure, for my physical vessel? And otherwise, it's not good soil to plant in for you. So it's quite easy in one way but that's something that's something that you always want to respect, because that is connected to your sacral center and your energy.
Yes. Thank you, Antoinette, for sharing your profiles with us. Moving on to Kimberly. Seeing the 46 again. This time it's in her sun. So it looks like she has the heroine, and I apologize for the graininess of the picture. I had to enlarge it. But the heroine is in her SQ. So she is the heart of the heroine, the heart of the adventurer. She also has the eternal child in her pearl, as well as the nomad in the culture sphere, love in the evolution, the enthusiast in the attraction. So those are the archetypes so far that we've developed that are in Kimberly's profile.
I mean, I have some of those themes, and I would say this is a design that can make you go crazy. I have a receptive mind and brain. You see the arrows on the side. I have a completely open ego. I have a completely open emotional center. I also have a split. So, and I'm a generator, and I'm a very splenic generator. So this is very much how my human design works. And here we can see there is a lot of possibility with a completely open head as well, that whatever is going on to the Ashen and the conceptualization, and then in the 35, that is all to do with hormones, it's all to do with serotonin and dopamine and tryptophan, but like what actually regulates those those levels,
hormones. Yeah,
it's just here we see again how important it is for a generator to live from that sacral center, because here there is both that split that could take over and then throw the balance off with that open center that takes in the doubt, the psychosis, and the and just the confusion of what's going on in humanity, and having all that receptivity and feeling that, and then the open ego and the open emotions to just feel the distortions. And like you see here, there's only one gate that is even pointing towards the emotion center, and that is the like it's looking for turbulence almost.
Yeah.
It needs something to process. So my advice here would be to really completely come back. There are two channels, but the most powerful channel for me is always the tantric channel. So the 15-5, what is your natural rhythm? What feels for you like home? Like always that. And the rhythm can be, feeling somebody else's heart rate, or it can be go out and put your hands and feel the Schumann resonance. It's really about that. And then there is also an ability to know what's in integrity and what's out of integrity. But this is a little bit more tricky, because this is the logical circuitry. And since we have this split, and the split might kind of take over in the open head, I would say that one it's easier that it fires wrong. But the life force to the G center for a generator, that is that is reliable. So for me, the 5-15 is just super, 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 super important. And the 5, we can see it's both in Saturn on both sides, and the 15, where is the 15? The 15, is the radiance. So this is like in this chart, is like, that's where you want to go. And then probably the vocation, there is the second key, like, where is it natural to be? Where is it natural for you to be? Because many themes that are going to be with the open emotion and the open ego are not going to feel natural. So come back to your naturalness, and you're going to have much more padding to be able to just respond to the world in a way that isn't conditioned.
Yeah. I would say one more thing is acceptance and love are a big theme in your life. I mean, it's your north node, and it's your evolution. And we also see that you have these format energies here. It's all about that nomad having those different cycles, that different rhythm. I mean, you have the heart of an adventurer, right? But then also the nomad who likes to travel, who likes to begin new things, who likes to end things. And so there's cycles of expansion, of growth, and then death, and then new things. And so you're constantly going to have to be coming back to that rhythm. You're going to put yourself back into that rhythm. So you'll be taken out and you'll be like, oh, okay, I need to find my rhythm again, right? So that's kind of what's happening. And the 3 is also your pearl, which is pointing towards the 60, which is all about mutation. It's waiting for that mutation to occur, waiting for that death to happen, waiting for the new cycle to occur. And so I would say accept where you're at all the time, and just orient yourself back with love all the time. It's like orient back with love, orient back with love. That's where you're orienting, and that's where you lead with, because you have so much in the G center, which is about love, self, direction, right? And so you're always going to come back here, like Bella was saying. That's going to be super important for you. So thank you, Kimberly, for sharing your charts with us. Let me see how many. We have 3 more. Yeah, 3 more. So we've got Christy. Self-projected projector. And it looks like she has your incarnation cross, Bella, but flipped a little bit. And she has the adventurer, the heroine. Sorry, the heroine is in the vocation sphere, in the core. And then we have the feminine in the evolution. the influencer, and the confidant. I mean, I see the main two channels we have going on here. I don't even kind of want to dive into any of the open centers or anything like that right now, but we have like knowing how and what to contribute in this unique way, in this trailblazing way. You're here to, I mean, and this influencer that you have in your attraction sphere, this one is like of the future. You have something that you're bringing here into the now, and it's in the realm of relationships too. So the way in which you contribute is very new, different. And you're going to also be, I mean, you have the 31-7 and you have that leadership inherent in you. I haven't really looked to see what lines we have going on with them though, but those are your strengths. I mean, my husband is also self-projected with this 8-1 and with the 2 as well. You like know, you know your own way. You go your own way. And you can go your own way. It's how you were designed. Oh, I see the 31 in the third line. So this like trial and error with emotions with this completely open emotional center. So I would say you're here to be wise about emotions, about other people's emotions, about what you do with them, projecting, mirroring, reflecting, all that kind of juicy stuff. I mean, you're 35 in your vocation. It's calling for that turbulence. It's calling for that adventure. You're here to be the heroine of your own life. And so you're working at accepting this role for yourself as the heroine, and accepting your hunger, and accepting everything that comes with this person that really is craving and desiring more. You have to make peace with your hunger so that you can just be open to the possibilities and to how and when you're going to be orienting with a new adventure, because it's not going to be consistent with you for you. It's going to happen sporadically. You just have to be patient and be in that stillness. What would you say about this design, Bella?
Yeah, I mean, I feel it's an interesting design. You are 1-3, so it's all about you being empowered and at the same time knowing that we can be empowered together. But it kind of comes from you being the creator, you focusing on the things that you are lit up about, and that's going to make you a light bulb that other people are going to see. I see that part of that your leadership really has to do with you coming to terms with emotions, and this is a very big thing I see, because your sphere of EQ is the 31.3, so it's easy to escape from it, and you also have a completely emotional center, which is also very easy to escape from emotions because you're so used to being flooded by other people's emotions. So it's easy to kind of say, I don't want that altogether, but that could make you bypass your whole leadership, your whole life purpose. And I can see why you would escape. It's very interesting. If we look at Pluto, you have 48 and 57. And then we look at your North Node and you have 48 and 57. So that is a theme that is really, really strong that I would love to go deeper with you, Krystal, because to have exactly the same activations in your Pluto and your North Node, there's just something there. And this is in the splenic center. This is a splenic intelligence of like knowing from your senses, auditory, like knowing from your senses. And I feel like there is something here. We recently did a meditation in the inner circle where we could see the splenic center and the emotional center kind of kidneys on the back, and that there can be fear in both that make us run away, but that is going to atrophy your system. You know, there is something here very powerful where you're asked to go in. And we also know that the 48 and the 57 are what Richard is putting into the Venus sequence when he explained the core wound, when he explained the childhood. So there is something here where often there's inadequacy, where there is unease. And for you, it's like your part of your transformation is to have the courage to go there, although it's going to be really uncomfortable, because your true leadership, your true creativity, your true storyteller comes from that there. And you're an abstract storyteller somehow. There is, like with the 35 and the 12, there's like kind of a human part of you, an abstract part of you, an adventurous part of you, a purity, a truth. You don't care if it's messy once you've overcome this thing that you're afraid to go there because it's uncomfortable. And when you were a child, you didn't know maybe if it was your fault or somebody else's. So that's for what I see. But I mean, there is a theme here. I feel like there is a mystery to uncover for you, and also the crest of the Sphinx. Having the crest of the Sphinx in my life. Like I know that there is something powerful. There is something like a Egyptian mystery here to go into.
Yes, and I love it. And I would say one more thing, and this is for everybody watching too. We have the vocation and the culture here. So what we would say here is that if Christy takes initiative to step into that heroine role, she's going to uncover the truth of her purity, and she's going to unite with that purity. So this is her essence, and this is her core, this is her vocation. So whenever you can take initiative off of your vocation, you begin to unlock this secret, this gift, this prosperity, this abundance in your culture sphere. So she's here to unlock the purity somehow of also coming into unity. So she's uniting. And the wound here is separation, right? So if the opposite is unity, then she's here to unify with her purity. And the center she has defined, oh, yeah, the G, the love. This is where the purity lives. And so she's needing to travel into this portal. So I don't know, this is exciting.
And actually, I just want to say here, like kind of telling people how you and I work. We are not simplistic. We would not say, oh, you heard Ashley saying now 3 times, take the initiative, right? And this is a projector. So in human design terms, we will be like, you have to wait to be invited. You're super cool, but you have to wait to be invited. No, like with the cross of the Sphinx and that G center that is completely defined and all those gates, like, no, this is a person that is a first line. She's going to take the initiative with her creativity, with her, like, it's going to be like that. So we have to look at the whole chart to understand what's going on. We can't simplify and say you're a projector, you're not allowed to initiate. That would be to cut somebody's throat up or to like tie their hands. And we don't want to do that.
No, yeah, especially with the cross of the Sphinx, they like know where they're going and they're attuned to this future vision. So why would you be like, nope, don't go that way. Nope, you have to wait to be invited. If nobody can connect to that future, if nobody can connect to that and be like, yeah, why don't you go in that direction? No one's gonna take that initiative. She has that initiative. She has thunder. So
and it's just listen to yourself. Sometimes when you hear yourself speak and it makes a lot of sense, you have invited yourself. So you're self-projecting. It's good for you to speak and listen to yourself.
Yeah, listen to yourself. Listen to yourself, Christy. Awesome. And with the theme of the 31, I feel like I pulled a card too, and it was I pulled 2 cards. I was like, what is the theme of these readings? And it was orient yourself with leadership. So all of you who we have read and we have still yet to read, I think we have 2 more. You're orienting with your leadership. And if you feel called to, come jump into the inner circle, because that's what we're all doing in there. We're all orienting with our leadership. Shameless plug. Thank you, Christy. Moving on to Gabrielle. Let's see. Vessel of Love again, right? Yep, Vessel of Love. And we have the Heroine in the Pearl. The Holy Grail is to connect into that adventure of the heroine. Man, we've got the 3rd line twice. This is adventure of adventure. What else do we have? We also have the Storm and the Translator archetype and Love. Beautiful. Wow, look at all that on the right side. We've got completely open on the splenic center. Woof.
So incredible.
You know what? You could be so fearless. I know that this is such like a what is it called? Like everybody can say it. Oh, open splenic, completely open. You can be fearless. Oh, yeah, but your pearl is like adventure. So like, don't be scared of jumping into adventure. You might fall down. You can't be afraid of that failure. You can't be afraid of what might happen.
And you might be called a freak too, but that's fine.
And you have the Genius to Freak channel. You might be called a freak. Wow, and they have the whole channel of transitoriness. Your life must be an adventure, right?
Yeah, there is like this, and there's nothing. If you look, there's no gate. What I can see, there's hanging that could even connect to the spleen. Like it's completely nothing can connect.
Wow,
like,
you're right.
Nothing that could connect.
No, we have the 10. She
no,
might.
But it doesn't go. Yeah, okay, 57. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. You empower yourself to get there. Wow.
I mean, there's also that makes it abstract. Again, we have a lot on that kind of abstract side. The left side, which is, you could say, it's more feminine, it's more emotional. In one way, you also have a little bit of that tribal theme again with a channel of community. I think the one theme that we've seen over and over again today is that 15-5. There is something with the rhythms that's so important. You are a generator. You are here to, or actually, are you a manifesting generator? Yeah, because you have the 36, 35. But your aura is a generator aura, and it's just so important for you to be attuned to the rhythm. And with all this kind of emotional power, will center and everything, if you are not in the right rhythm, you can kind of, it's like you can create havoc. Like whoever is around you, what is your attraction? If you are not in your rhythm, oh my God, yeah, it's the 5.5. Like you can really create a lot of turbulence and have a lot of people follow you in an off rhythm that would lead to really a lot of confusion. So, and that's, you're probably going to be shamed for that too. And you have that SQ also with the 36. So shaming in the third line vocation, and then the 36 in the SQ, that is turbulence. So I feel, and then the 6 is, oh my God, and then the EQ is the 6. I mean, I just say, there is something with you where you have to start to live the life your way, and whatever people say, to not take it to either become aggressive with them or to tear yourself down, because both could happen with all this power. Or either you would just like kind of give back and be angry at them, or you would kind of feel bad. So, and in here we see actually your Mercury is the 39.4. So for you, it's really about sharing about your truth in a heartfelt way, so that you create liberation in the world. That's what you're here, and you're relating a conversation, your communication. What you're here to do in the world is to be able to speak from the heart, so you can create liberation around you. And it's kind of being that person who, you're the changer. You're going to steer the pot. That's what it looks like.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Gabrielle, for sharing yourself with us. Do your thing, you 3-5, and then go and share it, right? We're going to call you out. Be like, yeah, come on. Come out here. You've got a lot of fifth lines. A lot, like Bella was saying. Okay, and then we have Carola Lindstead. And if
I remember right, she's a manifester. I'm not completely sure, but if I remember right, she's a manifester. She might be a manifesting generator, but I think she's a manifester.
Manifester somewhere. Manifesting generator or manifester. What am I looking for here? The 45. We have the 45. We haven't talked about goodwill in a while. It was at the beginning and it was at the end. We started and we ended with goodwill. So we have goodwill in the goodwill hunting, goodwill in the IQ, the mind, how the mind works. We also have the nurturer and the risk taker. And I'm just going to call this one the leader. And we have thunder and the detective and the Utarian and the manager and the nurturer again. Wow. Almost all of the archetypes that we've done. So cool. So cool to see this all in one chart. And another 3-5. Okay.
I mean, if I remember right, about there is kind of this like paradox for her between the Venus and the Pearl. You can see the Pearl, there is that 19, that a lot of sensitivity, that 27 that always kind of gives with both hands. And then in the Venus, you have the 45 in the third line, like really kind of like fiery and like tribal. You have the 39.5, so entrapment of like really provocation. And then the 51 is the thunder. So I feel like for Carola, it's so important that the Venus work is like, I mean, I can see that she has to do the Venus work over and over and over again, and still people might say she's arrogant. Still people might feel like she's. But there's just something with this chart that says the Venus sequence is kind of your work, and you are probably going to like, there is trial and error, and some people are going to want to impose like something that is less dynamic on you. They're going to want to impose their thing, probably even control you. But now I see. I mean, she has the 4521, which is the ego manifesting channel in her culture and her IQ. So there you have a powerful thing. But I think you're part of the new human beings that have both a very powerful ego manifesting side, and you have the 19, you have the 27. There are parts of it's just I would actually have loved to see the human design as well. But I see this kind of paradox almost. You are a walking paradox, but you're at the end of the day, you're here to be recognized for just being that, for being you. And maybe you're part of showing that even if you're powerful, even if you're ego manifester, even if you have the 45 to 31, a lot of leadership theme, at the end of the day, you are about altruism. You are about caring for you and caring for the other. And you are about equilibrium. The 50 goes hand in hand with the 27. So I feel like you're here to show something new. And you're a changer. You're a 3-5. There's something that you're doing that hasn't been done before.
Mm-hmm. And people sense that in you. That's why they come to you. And they're either going to be like, oh, too intense for me, or oh, this, and having these projections about you later and then kind of run off. I can see her being, I don't know if she is a manifestor or not, but you can feel that and sense that. And like Bella was saying about doing the Venus work, so important, because while I was looking at this, I was like, well, you can see this is kind of what she can show up and give. And here's what I'm doing. I'm giving, like Bella was saying, with both hands. But if you haven't done the Venus work, people are going to feel the inauthenticity of it. And they're going to also feel like, oh, here's some ulterior motives, or they're just going to sense something's off in it. And that's why we're doing the Venus work. And if you watch there's like a video we did, it was called We Are Dandelions. And I feel like it's so important to get into that core stability and kind of work through the Venus sequence, because the seeds that you're sowing, they come directly from the soil that you're planted in and how you've grown and what's kind of contributed to this. So the more you do this work and the more you are refining and letting go and transmuting and working through and investigating all this stuff within the Venus sequence, the purer these seeds that you're sowing come. You're trying to give people these seeds to plant. Here's these beans so that you can create this beanstalk to get to wherever, and people want to know that the beans that you're giving them are I don't know why pure keeps coming. I don't even see the 12 in here or anything like that, but it just feels like there's work to be done in the bottom half, like Bella was saying, for you to really be able to give altruistically without I'm giving so that you then give to me. It's like this overflow from your cup is so important. I would investigate the Nourisher archetype. We have that in the 64 doors. So if you go to the 64doors.com, you can go and click on the Nourisher, the 27, and investigate that. We have a ton of the archetypes in there already. So if you're wanting to investigate all these different ones, you have an investigative heart, right? You are the detective. So here are some archetypes for you to play with and try on, and to get that kind of biofeedback loop with. We want you to feel this sense of freedom within your design. So go and check those out and see how they resonate with you and what they kind of are going to unlock for you. That is my suggestion to you. Okay. Anything else that you'd want to say, Bella, for her, or for the theme of all these people, or anything like that?
No, I mean, we have really been focused on the 35 today, the heroine, and maybe we're going to go, I mean, we always say we're going to go half an hour or something, and we're always ending up being here 1 hour, but we might come back a little bit more with the 45 next week and kind of go into that, because I feel like there is something powerful about the 40. I mean, there is something really powerful. We see that in the world right now with the tribal leaders. They're kind of wanting to have those things their way, and that kind of leadership doesn't really work. So there is something with goodwill and profitability, goodwill. It's the code and ring of prosperity that I feel like, whether we come do it here or we do it, I don't really know where we're going to do it, Ashley, but in some context, I feel like that is going to be powerful, and I think that's going to be powerful also with where the world is right now, which was what is going on. I feel like there is something with the 45 next week that is going to be just highlighted.
Yes, I was looking for that dandelion thing because somebody wanted me to post that. So I'll post that later. And I think, yes, me and Bella will probably touch on it. If we don't do readings, we'll talk about it for sure. I feel like it is an important thing to talk about because we don't see a lot of that goodwill, that expression in the exalted of that 45, especially if you have the 4521. A lot of the children that are being born have that whole channel. And so it's also a channel of, I feel like, you guys can do it on your own. You don't really need anyone else. So it's like it creates more independence there. But are you like pushing away or leaving out the other? So there's some stuff to probably touch on and talk about with that. And in terms of conscious business, conscious leadership, it's important to understand that in the 16 and how businesses are changing and evolving. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wanted to just mention that we are still looking for creative people and artists that want to help us to illustrate the 64 doors. We are collaborating with artists, but we are also looking for more creative people because we want to find a way that's not only theoretical, but really just like sometimes or many times an image can say more than 1,000 words. So please reach out to us. And also if you like, because we go live many times every week. So if you like what we do, like our page, you get notified when we go live because many times it's spontaneous. We kind of like respond to live. So that's also a way of being notified.
Yes. Very good. And check out the dandelion video. I posted it. I posted the YouTube link, so you'll be able to check that out as well. So thank you for joining us for this episode of Illuminated Archetype. And if you're just catching us now, you can go back to the beginning and kind of look at what we have to offer in the 35th door, or you can just click on the link and go into the 35th door and see it for yourself. Thank you again, and we will see you another time. Bye.